my friends? How are you guys doing today? Welcome back. Thanks for stopping in. I hope wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, that you are striving, you're thriving, you are looking good and smelling good. You are having a hard time keeping your awesomeness in check. I hope you're loving yourself and loving the people you're with, because that's what it's all about. Today, my friends, we are going to be talking about a new movie. It came out, was it last year, I think, or maybe earlier this year? I can't remember, but it says that it was made in 2024. So we're going to go with that. This was made in 2024, guys. We're going to be checking out a zombie flick starring Daisy Ridley and Brandon Thwaites. Now, before we get started, hit that like and subscribe button for me, because we're going to be talking about We Bury the Dead. Guys, this film is one of the better zombie films I've seen in a long time. You know, we get a lot of zombie movies nowadays where it's just fodder. It's just fodder for explosions and obscene amounts of gore and dismemberments, and just, you know, that's what we have been trained to enjoy as far as zombie films go for this day and age. Now, I remember back in the gap, you know, back in the 60s, 70s, when a zombie film was more about that, not necessarily the slow burn, but the unavoidable, the hopelessness, the unavoidableness of loss. Like, it played on those emotions of uncertainty. You didn't know what was going on. You're trying to survive. You don't know who's who. Are these people those people? Is this your loved one, or are they altered in some way? Those kind of zombie films are what the genre originated as. We're in a house. There's living dead outside trying to get in. It's more about the interpersonal relationships of the people trying to survive, and not necessarily about the zombies. Whereas nowadays, it's all about how many zombies can we bean in the head with a bullet? How many zombies can we blow up? How many machine gun rounds can we fire in one movie? That's the kind of zombie films we have, because that's what we've been conditioned for. Like I said, this delivers something not new, but it takes us back to our roots. It takes us back to the originality, the original concept of what a zombie film is. We get, and it's really a little bit of like a little poetic social commentary there too. The U.S. has a new weapon that we test off the coast of Tasmania. Actually, we don't even test it. We bungle it somehow, and it goes off by accident. Massive EMP kills all electrical function on the island of Tasmania, including living brains. So boom, hard shutdown, just like a computer. Fries your system, right? So we're going over there to clean up the bodies. Well, what we don't know until we get there is, hey, some of these bodies come back to life. Woo, right? Here's what makes it interesting. You're thinking, okay, they're going to go over there, there's going to be machine guns, all that kind of stuff. This is Daisy Ridley is a wife. She's going over there to find her husband, who went on a business trip to Tasmania. You know, and of course there's the interpersonal drama between her and her husband, their relationship's crumbling. You know, there's wants of a baby, wants of in vitro fertilization, extramarital affair, just, you know, your part and parcel kind of your relationship turmoil starter kit for a movie, that kind of thing. And so we've got that going on. And so she's going over there to find her husband. Okay, cool. Well, what we don't know, like I said, some of them are coming back to life. So she's trying to, you know, figure out, you know, maybe my husband's come back to life kind of thing once she gets over there. But here's where things get interesting, is when we get introduced to our zombies. We have zombies in, not necessarily, because there's no like rotten zombies. There's no zombies with like pieces hanging off and stuff like that, as far as like, you know, rotting limbs and you can see parts of their cheek and all that stuff. There are reanimated zombies who are more like infants. They're not aggressive. They're not you know, they're not mean, as they say. They're almost like newborns. They're like infants. They're kind of scared. They're skittish. They don't respond. They just kind of stare off into nothing. They look around. But as the older I'll say that. The older they get as zombies, as newborn zombies, as they are reanimated longer, they become more agitated, they become more aggressive, things like that. And so we see instances of both of these zombies. And that's what, to me, what makes this movie so scary in a way, is because you don't know what kind of zombie you're going to get when you do find a reanimated one. The first one we see is like a reanimated zombie in a garage, and he's covered in oil, and he's like standing behind like an oil rack, like with like tire rack kind of thing, and he's standing there, and he looks scared. His lips are trembling, like he doesn't know what's going on. A couple soldiers come in behind, put 2 in the dome. That's it. And so Daisy Ridley's like, hey, maybe there's something to this. Maybe there's still something there inside there still ticking, but then we get down the road a little ways and we see that there are zombies that are just absolutely aggressive, hateful. They come at you, and they don't know what they're doing. They made the zombie feel original again, because the zombies always felt more like, in modern zombie films, like I said, they feel like fodder. They seem more like just a kind of a background instead of a focal point of the story. Where the zombies were scary because, like I said, you didn't know what you were getting. But then when you got the aggressive ones, or when they were about to become aggressive, they started grinding their teeth. But like, guys, oh man, I'm not a fan of grinding teeth, and so it's already unsettling to me. But like seeing these zombies like grinding their teeth to the point of just like breaking their front teeth out, and it's like sounds like bones clacking together. Oh man, that was terrible sounding, and it worked. It creates this sense of unease, this sense of dread, and I dug that. Not to mention the score in this film is creepy. I mean, it's got a lot of, it feels like it should be like in a witch or supernatural kind of film, the way that the score plays, but it accentuates those scenes and makes them even more unsettling and terrifying. So I thought that this film was a banger. I know I saw some people said it wasn't that good, but again, we have been conditioned for knockdown, drag out, shoot 'em up kind of zombie films, and this takes us back to our basics. And I think a lot of modern zombie fans probably don't get that, or they're not versed in earlier iterations of zombies, like George Romero's Night of the Living Dead or something like that. So overall, I think this movie's great. Special effects are good. We get a scene where a zombie gets shot in the dome, and he's laying on the ground, and I guess they didn't hit the brain good enough, because he's on the ground, half his face is missing, and he's twitching, but his teeth are still grinding, and that was terrifying. But guys, I think We Bury the Dead is well worth your time. I rented it. I'm sure it'll drop on a streamer here soon. If y'all want to wait for that, it'll probably be like an HBO Max or a Hulu or something like that. But We Bury the Dead is so worth your time, guys. It is so worth your time. Hell, I'd even recommend buying it. I mean, it's a great film. When it drops in price down to the, affordable, I'll say. Wise men never pay full price for a new movie. But yeah, guys, this is a fantastic film. I highly encourage y'all to check out We Bury the Dead. It's worth your time, worth your coin. And, that's it, guys. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for just a few minutes and talking about this movie, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. Let me know what you think about the movie in the comments. And as always, my friends, I am going to keep making them as long as you keep watching them. Peace out. God bless you, and I will see you soon.